Welcome to Refold. Refold is creating the path to true language fluency. And when we say fluency, we're talking about a level of language ability where you could be a fully functional adult in a country that speaks that language. So you could have a high-level job in that language or go to school entirely in that language. Now, the basic premise of Refold is that you focus on learning to understand your target language before you worry about speaking. This is pretty counter to most language learning methods out there, but there are two main advantages to this approach. First of all, it allows you to learn how to speak naturally and like a native. If you try to speak right off the bat before you've spent a lot of time with your target language, then you're going to end up kind of thinking in your native language, trying to translate in your head, and the result is going to be very weird and unnatural language, which can become bad habits later on. If you focus on understanding first, then when you start focusing on speaking later on down the line, you're going to be able to speak really naturally and like a native right off the bat. And the other main advantage is that it's really enjoyable, because when we're talking about learning to comprehend, what we're really talking about is watching lots of TV shows in your target language, as well as movies and reading comic books, reading novels, and doing these types of things that most people do for fun anyway. So it doesn't have to be work, it can actually be a very enjoyable process. Now, to get a little bit more specific, Refold breaks the process of reaching fluency in a foreign language into 3 stages. In stage 1, you're learning the basics of the language, basically memorizing the minimum amount of grammar and vocabulary necessary to be able to jump into authentic native content. And then in stage 2, you are going to be jumping into native content and learning to understand the language through consuming content in that language, exploring your interests, watching movies, TV shows, things like that. And then in stage 3, you're going to be converting the comprehension ability that you built up in stage 2 into speaking ability, which can happen pretty quickly. And the result of that is that you have spoken fluency in the language. Now, Refold isn't necessarily for everyone. If you're kind of just looking for a survival level of ability or very basic conversational ability in a foreign language so that you can travel to a foreign country and get by, then something like Benny Lewis's Fluent in 3 Months method is probably going to be a better fit. But if you're looking to reach a truly high level of fluency in a foreign language and you like doing things like reading novels and binging Netflix, then we strongly believe that Refold is the best way to go. Finally, let's talk about how long it actually takes to reach fluency with Refold. While I can't give you any generic numbers because the amount of time that it's going to take is going to greatly depend on the difficulty of the particular target language that we're talking about, as well as how different that target language is from your native language. But in the case of, let's say, an English speaker reaching fluency in Spanish, that would take about, we would estimate, 1,500 hours of consuming content in that language over the course of a year or two. Now, 1,500 hours might sound like a lot of time, but it's really not. Apparently, the average American spends around 11 hours per day on things like TV, video streaming, social media, and web browsing. So if you just took 3 of those hours each day and put them towards immersing yourself in a foreign language, then you could hit that 1,500 hour mark in just a year and a half. So if you're the kind of person who likes reading novels or binging Netflix, then the Refold method is perfect for you because it's going to allow you to take that activity and turn it into something productive like language learning.